Good morning. So we had gold on last night's watch list, and gold, of course, is rocking. Good morning. Clement, good morning. Jim, how are you? Clement, how about those gold names we were talking about? They are definitely some of the best looking names out there, in my opinion. AEM, KGC, WPM, EGO. Yeah. I mean, I said it last night. It's like, some of the market looks like it needs a break. And then, whether it be silver or gold in particular, looks pretty damn good. And the amount of setups in the gold space, that's normally like the subtle clue for me, Clement. It's how many stocks in a single group, are consolidated and ready to go higher. Yeah, AU. I mean, here's the thing: if 5 or 6 of them are going to go on to work, they're all going to go on to work. The difference is going to be which ones move better than others, right? You don't really know until they start moving. But I already own KGC, so I'm in from 1360s. Yeah, I already own Swingly. I already have KGC. I bought KGC off the 50 simple moving average. What day was this? 5/15. So they look great. They look great, and they look good for ads. KGC, AEM, WPM. They already are gapping up, Jess. Thoughts on ATGE? This one also was on my watch list. Pay was not on my watch list. Pay needs a little bit more time, but it looks good. Very strong recently. Yeah, ATGE looks a little bit more consolidated than Pay. Nice little series of higher lows. 20 has come up right behind it. We'll see. But I think I got to give gold a little extra look. No, I didn't take Palantir. Mm-mm. No, unfortunately, I was kind of prepared for the other side of that trade because of what I saw with Uber and MSTR, and then it just rocketed higher. I wasn't prepared, unfortunately. Yeah, the thing with gold, I've talked about it before. The best way to buy commodities is normally off of a pullback into ascending moving averages. But when things are nice and tight, the way KGC are, AEM, WPM, et cetera, like you can buy them on breakouts. It's just, normally they don't move. Normally they can be a little bit more tricky around a breakout level. But, if you notice strength in 4, 5, 6 of them, then they're just all, being accumulated and going higher. I mean, they look great. They were they were the number one theme I was touching upon in last night's watch list video. So, Fu, good morning. It depends. I would wait a few minutes into the open. Like, see if, in the morning there's a little bit of profit taking. The reality is they're going to go as gold goes. They're already kind of slow movers. I did. I traded Palantir on Friday on actually I traded it on the short side. I traded it near the open, and I had I'll tell you guys exactly what happened on Friday. Palantir. Palantir traded on Friday. I had 124.94 short and a 125.86 cover. So I lost about 90 cents on 8,000 shares. So really, really small loss. But the reason that I had a short in that area, 124.94, was I was looking at the 125.41 left side peak on the daily. So Palantir, if you kind of look back to this left side peak over here, 125.41 was the breakdown level. And then, right on Friday, this thing was coming into that level. And then I shorted it in here. And then I did not cover this washout. I just held it because underneath the 20 simple moving average, I had planned on shorting more. And what it did was it literally just turned right back around. And I had to stop myself out over prior day high. So, and then it went on to do this, and I didn't get myself to flip short. So kind of sucked. Obviously 127, 128 was the level that I was watching as a potential long. But by the time it got up there, it was already up, it's like normal average daily, it's average daily range. So I just left it alone. I was like, I'm not going to chase this thing. Right. And then sure enough, the market was getting hit. And then this thing just completely unwound the whole damn move. So if you were in here and you bought like 127, 128, you were probably getting stopped out. And sure enough, it hits its opening print, turns right back around, and then goes on to make a new high. I mean, just like total fuckery if you've ever seen it in your entire life, like the way that they move this one. But I had a short, and it was really a nothing kind of a loss. So it wasn't very notable. Would have been nice, if I was long it still from, down here. I mean, I was long this thing from sub $100. So feeling a little stupid recently, just seeing this thing continue to power higher, but it is what it is. But if anybody bought like 127, 128, almost certainly got stopped. And then you might have had to rebuy it, but just too many damn games. Thoughts on grind? Holding in there really well. Out of principle, I just don't know that I would buy it. No, I'm kidding. It looks good. AI, you leave it alone. Let it establish itself above the 200. See what it's doing right now, the 200 being 2708. Let it get above the 200 and establish itself, meaning let it go sideways and build you a new range above the 200 simple moving average. I own Toast. KD looks pretty good. This is a nice little bull flag. You could play this as like a higher low setup. I would look at something like 39.82. Above 39.82 looks pretty good, in my opinion. Toast looks good too. Similar to KD, right? Yeah, Celsius is shaping up. And this is what I mean by let it establish itself above the 200. So you see how like AI just got over its 200 simple day moving average? Well, Celsius did it like 2 months ago. And what's it been doing? It's been building a new little base above that. So it's nice to see. It's got its ass kicked, man. I don't know that I love it, but, you know, not bad. I saw STNE on my scans last night. Yeah, looks good. This thing actually looks pretty dang good. Hood does look very impressive. Oklo selling some common stock. What else do we got going on out here today? Just the pennies moving. Yeah, gold to me is the most interesting. I normally hate chasing gap ups on gold, but I'm already in KGC, so over 15, I might consider taking a extra little ad. Looks awesome. Chart looks great. AEM looks great. WPM looks great. EGO looks great. EGO looks awesome. Yeah, I am a little bit interested in HIMS. I will be kind of watching this 60-minute chart to see if we find some support on, it is kind of doing it right now, on rising 60-minute support. But if it takes out Friday's highs, I would have to probably be a buyer. Now, the real thing is the market pushing higher when I go to buy it? If the market's kind of getting beaten up, then no. And again, my opinion at the moment is that Thursday, I said Thursday that I believe, we have seen your short-term high in the ES. So your S&P 500, I think 6,000 is kind of that level that you're going to struggle with a little bit for a couple weeks, probably a week or two. I could be wrong, happy to be wrong, but stocks can still go higher while that happens. Yeah, Spotify's a bit annoying, and it's also on the watch list, but it needs over 671 and a quarter. I like KGC Hammer because I'm already in there. And do I like it more than AU? I saw AU, but I didn't put it on the watch list. But yeah, if this thing gets going, it's already up $1 higher. It's gapping up the most, which is, be a little cautious with it, but yeah, it looks good. It's gapping up the most. This one is the most gappy. KGC a little less gappy, but they both work. Oklo, if you're gonna go down, take my SMR with it. Thank you very much. AVGO and AppLovin might as well look like the same damn charts. Look at AVGO and then look at AppLovin. Oh, whoops. Hilarious. AVGO obviously a little bit stronger, but they all had that gap down. They all had that ramp back up on Friday. Pretty much everything did. Zscaler, what a monster. Hood looks good too. Little bit longer for Hood. I am hoping for a little bit longer of a consolidation. Yeah, it's just up. It's up. It's just still a little too much for me to buy it right here. A pull into the 20 would be super nice. Thoughts on Pony? Yeah, it's gone sideways pretty long here, so that's good. Found support on the rising 20 on Friday. Still just building this little sideways consolidation. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty good. This would be the ideal scenario. If it can go sideways, really catch up to this little upper level of resistance, call it $21, and then just one more green day today, a little inside a pullback, and just tighten up. Like for another 2-3 days would look best for Pony. But, as soon as this thing starts to clear 21, I don't know that there's a whole lot stopping this thing from $25. Super momentum. Hopefully everybody had a pretty good weekend this weekend. I know we had some nice weather out here. And hopefully it's a pretty awesome week this week in the market. Really just some digestion. That's what I'm asking for. God, I went to sleep early and I'm still tired. How does that work? Man, wish they wouldn't have kicked Uber's ass so bad. There's a few names on your list that I haven't even looked at. ESLT, this didn't come up on my scan. Really nice consolidation, a bit slow. LMND, but yeah, it looks really good. It's just a little slow. Lemonade. Don't know how I feel about this one, but Hims I like. Hims not bad. Datadog, this looks really good too. Problem with Datadog is if it were anything like these other great charts, it would already be above the 200 simple moving average. So keep that in mind. And then Hims. Yeah, Datadog looks fine. Just like I said, it's just, move up in a consolidation. But then you'd ask yourself during this last 6 weeks, why isn't Datadog, if I'm not mistaken, cybersecurity? Let me just triple check. I believe they are. They're software or something, or software application. Okay, well, if they're software application, then how come they don't look like Twilio? Oops. Where at least they've gotten back up above the 100 or the 200, or why don't they look like, a bunch of the other software applications? Yeah, silver looks interesting. I prefer gold, but for silver names, really only CDE. So D-Dog is cyber. Okay, that's what I thought actually. But so then you got to look at Zscaler and Rubrik and CrowdStrike, and you got to say, like, why is this thing still below the 200? It's a little odd. Yeah, I talked about Palantir. I mean, market dependent. If the market rolls over a little bit more, then you're going to struggle a little bit. Then I think, Palantir would struggle to break out as well. But if the market's going to press higher, then Palantir can just go. I mean, I don't know what the hell was going on Friday, if it was just news related. But, obviously Palantir it's pretty special on Friday. I think it screwed everybody over on both sides of the market. There is no increments. So it's actually all by, how do I say this? Like, I don't do it in increments, right? So the way I look at it is, am I gaining traction on my prior positions? And if I am, and I'm finding more clean setups, I just keep going. Like, if the market is going to be friendly and taking things higher, and I've got like a stock that is in a top 40 group that has good earnings and sales, that has a nice technical setup, I buy it. And then I buy it, and if I time it well and the market gives me some cushion, I hold it overnight. And then the next day, it's pushing out, but that prior night, I did my homework. I've got a few more setups. Things look good, and the market's still kind of pushing higher. I buy that next setup in a good group with good earnings and sales, and it's breaking out. And then I hold. And then I do the same thing. So I just continue to add and add and add stocks that are in top 40 groups, so leading groups with good earnings and sales and a clean technical setup. And I just keep doing that until I'm out of money, until I'm literally fully invested. And in a really healthy market, you'll find a bunch of setups. I mean, over the last, 6 weeks, I have found so many stocks. All of the leading stocks, I've talked about them 6 weeks ago. And some of them I've bought and I've just, traded them a little like shit, maybe like Palantir. But I own Palantir at 100. I was looking at Hood at 50, right? I was in CrowdStrike at 400. right? It's like, so I've focused on all of, I was talking about NVIDIA as a higher low setup at 99.5, right? I bought Tesla, 50 points ago. So I own Netflix, so the best stocks, they stand out, right? I was talking about SE when it got above the 50 simple. So it's just a matter of getting yourself positioned in all of these. No, I don't, hard to the core, I don't increase my risk per trade. The risk that I take is all dependent on how far my stop level is from, because here's the thing. If a stock has a 2% stop, I don't need to all of a sudden go, 25% of my portfolio in this one stock so that I can have 0.5% risk, right? Like I don't start doubling up my typical position size or tripling it up, having 40% basically of my portfolio in a stock with 2% stop in order to have basically 0.8% risk. So I'm not doing that. The market, because if I'm wrong, then I've now just, ruined maybe a healthy trade or two that I'm in, when I would rather, just take 10 to 15% of my position size in a stock and then that's it, right? So it's like if you're trading with a 100K account, 10 to $15,000 portfolio positions, and then really be thoughtful of where's my stop, how quickly does this stock move. I'm going to release a video. Actually, I got asked this quite a bit when I did that thread yesterday on my page, and I'm going to go ahead and release the video with it so that I can answer the most common question that I was given. So just kind of be on the lookout for that in a little bit. My thoughts on NXT, it's a solar stock, and SolarX kind of shitty, but NXT looks good. It's just solar doesn't act all that great. Yeah, STNE looks better. STNE definitely looks better. Looks like a nice little flag. And you've got clean area to risk off of. Nice to see. But, if you zoom out on this thing historically, very, 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 very choppy for the longest time. So, it'd be nice if it can clear this 200 on the weekly. I mean, it's looking better on the daily, but the weekly, whew. Yeah, CYBR, nice, the profit. SFM, that was on our radar as well. I had this on the watch list, I could look. I had SFM on the watch list on Friday over 171. Looks good. My thoughts on LOAR, I think there are better aerospace and defense names. Yeah, Jordan, same thoughts. Yeah, LOAR, MRCY definitely looks better in the aerospace and defense sector. MRCY, in fact, my favorite one is DRS. The cleanest, I would say. Yeah, APLD has been a dog for a while, right? I'm not chasing this gap up on this thing. Carter, I'm not going to chase the gap up on APLD. Yeah, DRS, very clean. On last night's watch list as well. Do I look at COT reports? Yeah, I do. I look at COT reports because I'm trying to learn that from Jason Shapiro. I'm trying to, as the years and months go on, the reality is that like I understand what I understand and I'm good at doing what I'm good at doing. But I'm always trying to get better. And one of the ways that I improve is learning from these guys who are, market wizards. So, as it relates to Jason, he always talks about COT data and like timing it so you can play the turn. So I am trying to like learn it, and I understand the concept where it's like something gets crowded on one side of the trade. Let's say everybody is like long Bitcoin, right? And it's showing on COT data, and then Bitcoin has like some really good news, like Trump signs an executive order that the United States is buying Bitcoin, right? Something like that. And then all of a sudden price closed, like looks like it's going to gap up and then closes on lows of the day. Then you'd look at that as like a news failure because it was super crowded to the long side. This kind of news should have taken it higher, didn't. And then, there's your spot that you short with your risk at highs, right? How's it going to go higher when everybody's already in according to COT data? And then there's just unwinding to be done. And you could stay short until COT data goes neutral. So I understand it. It's just about practicing it in real time. It's easier said than done. But it definitely, the concept definitely makes sense. Yeah, Jason's super bright. I've learned quite a bit from Jason. So, and you're not a market wizard for anything. He's really bright. But with that said, there are a lot of bright people out there, right? There's a lot to learn from like a Lance B or the Short Bear or Christian Kulamagi, or it just depends what resonates with you, right? What kind of trading do you do that like if would it resonate with you? That's the most important thing. These leading gappers, they're all these penny names, man. Such an annoying market. Don't really see anything out here that gets me too excited right now. Gold names, maybe. Ideally, they sell off a little bit in the morning, and then, they find their footing. And Palantir keeps ripping. Looks good. Any exception for not buying over 4x ATR rule, for instance, name like Zscaler? Yeah. So that's the thing. When it gapped up over on earnings, it was just still a little bit extended. I don't really want to make any exceptions to the rule because if you have rules that historically, you can do it, but with like small and mid caps at like maybe 5 times ATR from the 50. But if you just start breaking your rules, then, you might as well just not have them at all. And I don't really want to make exceptions to the rules. It's just, they're very firm rules, makes it easy. And again, you can at 5 times, okay, fine. Because the market's super strong, fine. But, you start buying something at 7, 8 times, ATR from their 50, and now you're just throwing the whole rule out of the window for no reason. You know what I mean? And I don't really want to do that. If it's going to go, it'll tighten at some point. What's my thoughts on MTZ? Let me take a peek at these. MTZ. So it looks pretty good. Liquid moves 3% per day. Might be the only negative, but I think it looks great. Nice find. The only real question is, all right, let me take a peek, is hold on a second. I want to know what group it's in. All right, so first name MTZ. Yeah, it's even in a really strong group. Construction. Does that sound about right to you? Just to make sure my scanners aren't lying. IESC. A little thin. Flagging out nicely. Yeah, construction. Yeah, group rank number 3, sector rank number 1 over the last month. It's sub-industry group number 9. But yes, IESC. Construction as well. You know, a little less liquid. Sector rank number 1. Earnings and sales, pretty decent on IESC as well. TPC. Okay, so my guess here is, Karsten, you just found yourself the leading group and you just started going through those charts just to see which ones look nicest, right? Because that's normally the smartest thing to do. So you're doing things the right way, my guy. That's exactly what you're trying to align yourself with the strongest group, and that's exactly what you want to do. So ECG looks good as well. And you notice why they all look good? You notice why they all look pretty damn good? They look good because they're in the same group and institutions are accumulating them. That's why. Institutions are buying them. Okay, so Jordan, I talked about this before, but if you go on FinViz, it's for free. So go on FinViz, click on groups. Right underneath it, there's the drop-down bar. Click on industry group or sector, I believe, and then scroll down and go to like 1 month, 3 month, and then look at the top groups. I'll have to make a video about this because I made a video about screening. I'll make another video and post it to my ex about how we use FinViz to find and look at leading groups. And then, you know, add really simple filters from there. You know, like go leading group by leading group and then, you know, find setups. My thoughts on Frog? Yeah, Frog's on my watch list, actually. But yeah, I'll make a video about it. So. Today should be a pretty straightforward day, honestly. No, I don't. The only time I wire money out is when it's time to pay Uncle Sam, and you know, I pull a little bit out for myself to live. Otherwise, I just continue to do the exact same thing I'm doing, but with bigger size. Right? I mean, you know, my goal is, you know, to eventually be trading with, you know, 500 million, $1 billion. I mean, you know, I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I might be able to get there by the time I'm, you know, 45, 50 years old. So like another 15 years probably. But that's my thinking. Just do the exact same thing, just compound, right? Just try to make, 30, 40, 50% and some really good years, 100%, maybe more. I'm just bigger size. It's difficult to do. It gets more difficult as your account gets bigger because you have to trade super liquid names, but it can be done. So anybody who tells you it can't be done, they just don't think big enough. But yeah, Dolvent, like I don't really care to just like start my account at $5 million and then just trade from there. Right? There are instances where like I want to take trades with that much size. So I definitely want to make sure that I got the buying power. Like for instance, like Tesla, right? Like I'd like to get several $1 million into Tesla. Same with other really great companies. Yeah, the Kulamagi blueprint. Yeah, there's no reason that you just pull your money. Well, what am I supposed to do with it? Buy real estate? I can make way more money than headaching myself with real estate and collecting a couple $1,000 a month in rent. I don't want to do that. It's a waste of my time. Buy 100 rental properties to make $300K. It's like I make that on a single nice trade. And I don't have to replace any water heaters when they break in the middle of the night. TLN looks really good. TLN looks good. The longer it goes sideways here, I think the better. But it looks good. It's not overly extended. Looks like a cup and a handle. Yeah, I mean, even if I was able to get paid 4% interest on my money, I could beat that year in and year out trading in the market. I mean, 4%, that's like one hot 30-day period for me, less. I can make 4% in a couple days if it's a really good market, and I've got enough position size on. Depends, right? But I'm not trying to wire out money and do what with it, I trade for a living, so that's my focus. It'll always be my focus. And real estate seems like a massive headache, man. My buddy's a GC, so he could do it, but not me. I'm a trader, not a general contractor. Have one of my tenants call me, Ariel, my hot water heater broke. Ariel, the sprinkler head broke. Yeah, no thanks. Man, this Roblox is ridiculous. Yeah, DRS looks good, Swingman. Yeah, good eyeball. This was on my last night's watch list. We'll see. Do I invest in the S&P 500 long term? No. I own my house. I just own my house. I bought my house, I don't know, 2 years ago. So, and the mistake that I did was I just bought it outright when I should have gotten a loan. But could have made more money, compounding that 700K versus, just giving it all to a bank. Do I ever buy anything just in case? No. Just in case of what, Takeshi? I'm okay. If the market's going down, I'm comfortable shorting. So I don't know. And I do well regardless as long as the market's in a trend. So And at this point, my fiance is taken care of. So if somehow I were to get into some accident and my brain stops working, she'll be fine anyway. Yeah, I have an IRA account, but I just fund it. And I don't really trade out of it too much yet because it's a small account. So I'd have to grow it. I'd have to physically trade it and grow it. And I don't focus on it nearly as much as I should. No excuse, but that's just the truth. Do I trade my IRA account differently? I don't really trade it, like I mentioned. I just fund it. There will come a time when I do trade it. Yeah. Jack's actually the one who told me to start trading mine. Believe it or not, he's the one who told me that I can make mine a marginable IRA, and we talked about it privately. Thoughts on APLD? I won't be chasing that one today. It's just trying to get above the 200. Let it establish itself. VOO, yeah. Yeah, everybody needs a Jack Kellogg IRA growth plan. He's awesome too, man. Such a good guy. He is. So is Nate. They're both amazing. JBL looks awesome. Guys, I just realized the time. I'm going to answer this question, Julian, and then I got to get going. Does your 4 ATR rule apply when buying an earnings gap up? It's the only rare exception where I might, kind of circumvent that rule, but I don't want to get too extended from the 50 before I, start buying. So even if it gaps up and then it's up like 7 times its average true range from the 50, I don't just want to start plowing into that thing. I'd rather just kind of wait for a high volume close setup. I think is even better. So you get the high volume close, and then you maybe get like a little inside day or a pullback or some kind of tightening, and then you come in for it later. So the last thing I really want to do is get myself in the habit of buying things that are extended. But yeah, that's just my thinking. It's about the only time you would circumvent that rule if you could, but you're normally not on gap up day. Just wait for a high volume close instead. So then at least you have a level to work with. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate you guys. And for the rest of you guys, I will see you in 23 hours, bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for being here. Cheers.